Okay, so thank you again for all joining us today to discuss the topic of solar energy. This seems like a particularly fitting topic this week because we've had two pieces of news that I think are quite pertinent to this. On the one side, some raging controversy over some plans to install solar panels on the roof of King's College Chapel in Cambridge, which has got a lot of people up in arms. And on the flip side of that, the Queen Elizabeth Prize this week has been awarded to a team of engineers who've developed a form of solar technology, which has led to greater energy efficiency at lower cost. And as a result of their research, I was reading about it this morning, super interesting. The cost of solar panels has been able to reduce by over 80% in the last decade as a result of their technology, which has made them more affordable and enabled the whole sector to start to scale faster. So I thought quite a fitting week to be talking about solar energy with both of those topics in the news. 2022 was a record year for renewable energy. Over 40% of UK electricity came from renewables in 2022. And as the cost of gas keeps increasing, investments are continually being made in renewable power sources such as solar, and the market continues to grow year on year. So it's definitely an exciting sector to be in. We're going to hear from two speakers on the topic today who will share their career journeys with us, how they got into the sector, the work they're doing and the skills that they need to help their organisations to keep growing. So we'll be joined by Vince Alder from Smart Reflectors. Smart Reflectors have a technology using smart reflector panels that you can control from your phone to help you reflect solar energy wherever you choose and wherever you need to use it. And we're also joined by Ross Kent from Qcells, who are one of the world's largest solar manufacturers, supplying solar systems to homes and commercial properties around the world. So without any further ado, Vince from Smart Reflectors, please take the floor.
Excellent. Thank you, Cherry. Let me just share my screen. And hello, everybody. Thanks for coming. And thanks for your time listening to me. So hello, I'm Vince. I'm basically what happens when you buy your 6-year-old child a programmable home computer. And yeah, I'm a bit of an environmentalist. So I've come up with smart reflectors. Essentially we've made renewable energy cost a lot less than fossil fuel energy, and we aim to make that even more so. And we're basically getting a lot of support from government, from academia sector and the science sector. So yeah, essentially I'm a bit of a hippie. I got into this because I wanted to save money and not spend so much on my heating. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have similar feelings too. And yeah, to be honest, back in the day when the hippie movement started out, it was quite tough. They had a lot of people pushing against it. It wasn't a popular time to be in that kind of mindset. But things have changed now, and you probably recognize this guy, the richest guy in the world, Elon Musk, and that's mainly down to his company Tesla, which I'm sure you've heard about. It's essentially making cars work better with renewable energy. So right, a little bit more about how I got into this. There's a bit of history here. Some of you may be familiar with these solar tower power stations you have in the desert, where essentially they use these massive mirrors to track the sun, reflect its energy at a solar tower to make it hot, and then they generate electricity the same way you do from burning fossil fuels. And if I was the first person in the world to design one of these power plants, I'd probably do exactly the same thing. And if someone commissioned me to do another power plant a few years ago, I'd have probably just used exactly the same design of reflectors, cut and paste job. Why not? If it isn't broke, don't fix it, right? But what we're doing is actually changing the idea of a simple solar reflector. So here, these reflectors cost thousands of pounds. Now, simple maths, if you add a little computer with built-in Wi-Fi, which nowadays you can get for £1 wholesale, and you can come up with a smart reflector, which costs a lot less. The maths doesn't quite add up there. The thousands of pounds plus £1 should be more than thousands, but actually it's a lot less, because essentially what we've done now is a smart collector, is a solar light with a telescopic umbrella inside and a reflective mylar blanket. These are all embarrassingly close to things you can get from Poundland. So essentially the raw materials to make it are very, very low cost. We can sell it for a lot more than that, and we have to sell it for a lot more than that because we have to scale quite a lot if we're going to really make a difference quickly to the fossil fuel market, which is what we're aiming to do. So let's see what horrible experience of trying to heat your house with these things essentially from Poundland. Yeah, well, you'd put a few of them outside your house. Here's one. It would attract the sun. They can actually set up themselves. They've got some little sun sensing equipment inside, so they can track the sun. So you basically just zip tie them to your fence post. They don't require any cables or pipes to be set up, like your gas or your electricity. They can track the sun automatically. That's not an issue. They can basically have as many targets as you want. So you can use them to heat your car in the mornings, heat your swimming pool, top up your tan. Yeah, you can control it with your smartphone. You can sell the energy to your neighbors. You can use your house as a humongous free battery for storing heat energy. Because essentially these are to gas what solar panels are to electricity. But obviously you can do extra stuff with them. And you can even cool while cooling the planet, which is pretty nice. It's early stages for us, so we've recently just proved the concept with just some mocking up some simple reflectors. We've had quite a lot of interest. People quite enjoyed using it. We're refining the design now, and we're actually looking for people to help us with the prototyping. We're really looking to come up with a design which we can rapidly produce. We've automated it, so it's very easy to use. And yeah, we're looking to scale production very soon. And as soon as we can, get into mass production. And yeah, globalize and hopefully sort out the transition from fossil fuels to clean energy. And we will want your help if you have any skills in prototyping. Yeah, we're looking for hardware, prototype engineers, software, yeah, electronics. Yeah, if you have any of these skills, I would be incredibly grateful. If you could get in touch with us, here are our details. You can scan the QR code or get in touch on LinkedIn or just send me an email. And yeah, really look forward to hearing from you. Or if you'd just like to follow our journey, that would be equally great. So yeah, happy to have a chat later. I hope I haven't run over time too much. But yeah, thanks for sorting this out, Sherry. Yeah,
no worries. My pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Vince. And I think it's really nice to have people featured who are still at really early stages of production and coming to market with these prototypes and these new innovations and inventions. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And if there's anybody on the call that can help Vince, then there's his contact details. So please do feel free to get in touch with him. And then he'll be hosting one of the breakout rooms. So I've seen a few questions start to pop into the chat. Keep hold of your questions and you can raise those with Vince in the breakout room afterwards. Thank you so much, Vince. And now we're joined by Ross Kent from Q-Cells. Ross, are you there?
I'm here. Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Super.
Good to be here.
Take the floor, Ross.
So I'll share my screen as well. So just bear with me. So hopefully everybody can see this okay. Okay, so hi, my name is Ross Kent. I'm head of sales for Q-Cells. We are a global solar panel manufacturer and general system component manufacturer as well. And I'm covering UK, Ireland and Scandinavia for Q-Cells. So just before we get into the kind of career stuff, just a little bit about me. I'm 37 years old. I'm married with 2 children and I'm working in renewables since April 2011. And I live in Leicestershire. I support Leicester City for my sins. And I have a general interest in renewables and kind of clean living. So I'm an EV driver, and we have a lot of solar PV and storage at our house. And since taking over the Scandinavian region, I've also started to learn a bit of Swedish in my spare time. So I'm by no means advanced, but I have some basic working proficiency in Swedish after a year and a little bit. So just some background there, just to make it a bit more personal. So I joined renewables in 2011, and at that time I was working in the builders merchant industry, and basically wanted a change. I knew a family friend who had just started a renewable company. That company was called Renewable Energy. And this was about as kind of startup as you can imagine. It was a kitchen table. We were working off a kitchen table, and the company had 3 people in it. And my official job title was sales manager. However, my real job was sales, marketing, technical support, warehouse, forklift driver, procurement, installation, basically any kind of function you can imagine. Now that was tough, obviously tough to hold that many job roles, but working in a very dynamic company, having to pick up every kind of element because it was a very hands-on operation. So it really gave me a brilliant foundation for a career in renewables. This company was offering mainly residential PV at the time, and then doing also some smaller scale commercial solar PV, and also solar thermal as well. So back over 10 years ago now, 12 years ago, the market's extremely driven by tariffs. Everything was feed-in tariff. Everything was how quick is this system going to pay back? What kind of return on investment am I going to receive from the system? You also needed a lot more money to do it. Cherry already alluded to the price of solar being far higher over 10 years ago. So the market was much more constrained in its kind of serviceable market. It was wealthy people, mainly over 50, who could actually afford to buy solar PV and actually be able to afford to invest in the technology. So there was little or no focus on kind of energy security, pricing volatility. These things simply weren't around. People were used to very flat rate energy fees. So the market shifted on its head very, very nicely for solar, because now not only do we have a marketplace where the average consumer is very aware of energy prices, but also the price of solar has fallen considerably. So it's perfect market conditions where we find ourselves now. But to finish up on Renewable Energy, this was a brilliant company, a brilliant foundation to learn. They're still trading today, and they're still very focused on delivering high quality solutions to customers. From Renewable Energy, I went on to join a company called Rexel, who were far larger. They were an international distributor. So I remained in renewables. I stayed in a sales role, and this was kind of my first experience in working in a larger company and dealing with a variety of different manufacturers and small and large installer base who we were selling into. I didn't remain at Rexel for too long because another opportunity arose, and after 18 months, I joined a company called QCells, and this is probably where my career really started to flourish. I was entering a genuine kind of global brand, starting to understand the challenges with manufacturing, and also being part of a global marketplace. So the bumps in the road that can occur with things like natural material sourcing, with shipping issues, general kind of global environment that you find yourself. The company itself was founded in 1999. It was founded in Germany, and since 2012, it's been owned by the Hanwha Group, which is a large Korean conglomerate. The combination of German and Korean cultures, plus all the territories we're working in, provides for a unique culture. Working with many international colleagues, which is great and gives you a new perspective. Since the last 2 years, I'm now managing a team that covers UK, Ireland, and Scandinavia. And we have a brilliant culture within the team, very challenging conditions, growing marketplace, very busy, very high demand for our products right now. But really, it's a fantastic environment to work in, especially for a large manufacturer. Now, I'm not just here to really plug Qcells. There's the beauty of renewables generally is that there's many great companies out there. So there's lots of people looking for talent, and yeah, we're not the only great company. There's lots there. You can see the kind of cumulative solar capacity here as well, which I thought I'd include. Now, a lot of this was done in the earlier days of the feed-in tariff, but actually we're about to catch another big upward trend in solar PV deployment. So if you speak to most people in most companies in the industry, they'll tell you their demand is rising very sharply. So I thought I'd try and pose some questions from what can I do to not talk about Qcells, but just why generally should you work in sustainable technology? Now, the first thing to say is that this is an industry which is really top of the agenda. Renewables, energy, these kind of topics are very much, headline news these days with everything that's going on in the world. So you're joining an industry which is got very high credibility and is very much in demand at the moment. And the opportunities to learn and develop and the experiences you can have in renewables, I think are unparalleled. And the opportunities for the next 10 or 20 years are very much unparalleled. The industry, I would say for the most part, has a lot of nice people in it, a lot of approachable people, and it has a generally very nice culture. And you're playing a part in a huge energy revolution is genuinely what we're doing here, because like I say, years ago when we had feed-in tariffs, it was very much about an investment, about tariffs, about payback. Now it's very much an energy solution. So you're really if you work in something like renewable selling, if you're selling things like solar panels, if you're in a manufacturer, you're really selling an energy solution to somebody. They see a solar panel as energy rather than previously seeing it as a financial return. And that's the big maturity of the market. The industry is still relatively in its infancy, which means if you do join good companies and growing companies, they have quite flat structures and you have a great opportunity to progress quite quickly. Also, I think if people ask you what you do for a living, if you're a party, if you're chatting to somebody you don't know, I think it's quite nice to say that you work in renewables as well. And that's quite a nice story. And people are generally interested that you do that. And if they don't know, they will ask you lots of questions. And the big kind of number one issue here is that the industry is growing at such a rapid rate that it's vastly short of talent. We need lots of new people. We need lots of new entrants. And honestly, I can't really give you a single answer for what kind of position we need, because we need lots of everything. We're maturing and we need positions for more or less anything you can imagine a business would need, be that sales, R&D, marketing, you name it, really, because whether you work for a manufacturer, different companies, everybody, none will be looking for talent and how to grow their business and scale their business. So hopefully that's resonated with you somewhat, and you're interested generally in a career in sustainability. I'm not sure how long I took there, but hopefully that's okay. Oh, and final point, sorry. So this is just a snapshot of some of the things I've done, some of the nice things I've got to do in the past year of working with Qcells. Not to brag too much, hopefully, but just so you can see some of the nice things that a role in renewables might be able to give you. So I was lucky enough to stand on the roof of Silverstone in May last year because our solar panels were deployed there. Last month I was in Seoul visiting our head office. I work with many Swedish customers, and we took a nice boat trip in the summer last year, and also had a lovely team meeting together. This is our whole team together in Sweden in September last year. So really great opportunities, really great life experiences to have in this industry if you pick the right company and choose the right career path. So thanks everybody for their time, and I'll be pleased to speak to everybody later. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for that, Ross. And I think really nice to see there that, in an industry like solar, you've got those two really different ends of the spectrum. You've got that huge, big global organization that you can work for, and then you've got right at the kind of bleeding edge of innovation at the other end, and as there really is something for everybody if it's an industry that you want to join. So thank you both so much for sharing that.